Hi everyone, my name is Leslie Morales and I'll be doing a case review today. First, let's start with a little brief description of the student's background. The student is Campbell Zipperman. She is an 8-year-old third grader attending Caddo Mills Griffiths Elementary. She was referred for initial evaluation by the campus response to intervention team due to her concerns with her academic performance in math, despite multiple interventions in place over the past 2 years. Campbell has challenges with math computation and often appears lost when working independently. She also struggles with mastering new concepts and applying previously taught concepts. Campbell has a good record of school attendance with appropriate instructional opportunities. Campbell has participated in small group interventions with math intervention specialists for both reading and math since second grade and continues in the third grade. According to her current teacher, Miss Colwell, is a student who very much wants to do well in math and works hard to do so. Um, Ms. Colwell reports that Campbell is aware of her difficulty when compared to her peers and at time resorts to attempting to copy her peers' work to successfully complete assignments and tests. Campbell's math skills are significantly behind her peers. On Campbell's first 6 weeks multiple choice comprehensive test in third grade, she correctly answered only 33% of all the answers correctly. Item analysis indicated that she struggled to determine the correct answer across all concepts measured on this test. She did attempt to use strategies that are emphasized in the classroom by showing her work on each problem, but mistakes in all types of calculations and incorrect process led to incorrect answers. Campbell has been receiving reading intervention in a small group for 50 minutes 3 times weekly for over 1 school year and is making adequate progress in that academic area with the current general education support. Campbell's skills on developmental reading assessment indicates that she is reading at her grade level. Campbell's report card shows a pattern of passing grades in all classes except math for her first, second, and now third grade year. Typically, her reading and English grades have been in the 70s range, with science and social study grades higher within the 80 and 90s range, and her math grades in the failing range within the 50s and 60s. So I kind of want to go over her suspected disability. The suspected disability at this point is specific learning disability, SLD in mathematics. I believe Campbell's suspected disability is in mathematics because Campbell showcases persistent difficulty with math computation, problem solving, and application of learned concepts, despite student receiving response to intervention in mathematics with her math specialist for over 2 years. Campbell had daily small group math instruction with the specialist, one-on-one support. She had visual cues, um, modeling, and structured interventions for more than 2 years. In contrast, Campbell's academic performance in reading, language arts, social studies, and science falls within average compared to math, being a challenge for the student. The discrepancy between math and other domains suggests a weakness that may be consistent with the processing deficit associated with SLD, specific learning disability. Now, I want to go over some of the assessments that I will complete with Campbell. I'm very comfortable with providing the Woodcock-Johnson, so I'm going to provide the WJ-COG, which is Woodcock-Johnson Cognitive Abilities, WJ Oral Language, and the WJ Achievement. I broke it down into 7 CHC broad abilities, and then I added an additional 2 that I think that will be very beneficial, so I'll be going over this with you guys. So the first one I will be giving is a comprehensive knowledge. The subtest that I will be giving is the oral vocabulary, general information, and picture vocabulary. My rationale behind this is because it measures acquired knowledge and verbal reasoning. I believe this is essential because Campbell showcases adequate range in reading comprehension, which could support in identifying her strengths. The second I will be evaluating is fluid reasoning, and I'll be utilizing the concept formation on the WJ-COG and the number series on the WJ-COG. My rationale behind this is assessing for inductive slash deductive reasoning and quantitative problem solving. I believe this is directly relevant to Campbell's difficulties applying new math concepts. So hopefully that we could pull some information from that. The third thing I'll be evaluating, the third domain I'll be evaluating is visual processing. I'll be utilizing the two tests, which is visualization and picture recognition. Visualization from the WJ-COG and picture recognition is from the WJ Achievement. My rationale behind this is it evaluates spatial relations and the ability to manipulate and recall visual patterns. Math learning often relies on visual spatial skills, so I think this will be essential to evaluate. The fourth domain we'll be evaluating is her working memory. We'll be utilizing two subtests, which is the numbers reversed, the WJ-COG, and the verbal attention WJ-COG. The rationale behind this is it captures the ability to hold and manipulate information essential for multi-step math problems. Campbell received intervention support and had difficulties showcasing what she learned during her benchmarks. So I just want to be able to get a look at her, the way how she's able to withhold information. The fifth domain I'll be looking at is processing speed. I'll be using the two tests, letter pattern matching and pair cancellation. Both those will be pulled from the WJ-COG. My rationale behind this, it measures speed and accuracy in processing simple information. This will help determine whether Campbell's difficulties are compounded by slow processing speed. Um, Particularly, I'll be utilizing whether she struggles with math time test and being timed at a quick pace. For the sixth domain, I will be assessing her auditory processing. The two tests I will be, or the two subtests I will be utilizing is the phonological processing, which is the WJ-COG, and segmentation, which is from the WJ oral language. My rationale behind this is I believe it's important for evaluating whether difficulties in symbol sound associations or phonological awareness underlie the academic weakness. The seventh domain I will be evaluating is long-term retrieval. The two subtests I'll be utilizing both from the WJ-COG is visual auditory learning and story recall. My rationale behind this is it looks at the ability to store and retrieve new information, which is essential for retaining math facts and applying previously taught concepts, which is one of Campbell's reported weaknesses from her teacher's report. Eight, the eighth domain I'll be looking into is reading and writing. I'll be using three subtests, which is the letter word identification from the WJ Achievement, applied problems from the WJ Achievement, and spelling from the WJ Achievement. My rationale behind this is it establishes academic baseline and confirms areas of strengths versus difficulty. This will overall help me in identifying SLD as her eligibility. Since Campbell is reported to be at grade level and reading this cluster will be able to provide contrast within. The last domain I'll be evaluating is quantitative reasoning. I'll be utilizing three subtests, which is calculation for the WJ Achievement, applied problems from WJ Achievement, and math facts fluency from WJ Achievement. My rationale behind this is a core area of concern. So these tests directly measure math computation, fluency, and reasoning aligning with Campbell's patterns of failing grades in math and low performance on comprehensive tests. Overall, by utilizing these clusters of assessments, it ensures I have the full coverage of the CHC domains, the 7 broad domains, and I wanted to include an additional 2 narrow domains, which is reading and writing, which could assist in identifying strengths and weaknesses to identify processing difficulties and ensure difficulties are only in math and not a global learning concern with the other subjects. Um, Language and factors are assessed through the oral language subtest. In the case study, it was reported the language spoken at home is English, and Campbell expresses herself best orally. This structure will assist in SLD identification in mathematics. Some of the recommendations I have for Campbell, um, I came up with four. So Campbell's primary area of need is mathematics. The teachers can support Campbell by using visual supports and manipulatives to support conceptual understanding. In the case study, they were sharing some of the instructional strategies that they were using in the classroom, which was visual measuring tools to make the lessons more of a hands-on support learning, and that's how Campbell was learning. So maybe continue utilizing that strategy. A second strategy I would incorporate is daily practice through activities to support the students' learning. So some of these practices could be using flashcards, math games, computer-based activities, just something that she could practice and get that skills going daily. Um, Third would be teachers can support Campbell by breaking down multi-step word problems into smaller steps and possibly with some visual cues. If you're seeing that's working, continue doing visual cues, which is like you could do diagrams, just stuff that could help her understand what are the steps needed to be able to solve that problem. And lastly, teachers can provide extended time on a test and assignments to support student. It was shown that Campbell does take a little bit longer than the rest of her peers, so giving her some additional time could be very beneficial for her. Um, Lastly, I do want to discuss some exclusionary factors. I think it's essential to talk about what exclusionary factors first before jumping in. So an important part of identifying specific learning disability, it requires an evaluation and consideration of all factors other than a disorder and one of the basic psychological processes that may be the primary cause of students' academic weakness and learning difficulties. So some of these exclusionary factors are include but are not limited to vision, hearing, motor disabilities, intellectual disability, social, emotional, psychological disturbance, environmental or economic disadvantage, cultural and linguistic factors, insufficient instruction, and physical health. According to the case study, Campbell's language spoken at home is English, and she best expresses herself orally. The referral information indicates no parent or teacher concerns with communication skills. Based on the information from the school nurse, Campbell's hearing and vision are within gross normal limits without any aids. The school nurse did not report any health concerns. Parent reported there were no complications during pregnancy, and Campbell met her developmental milestones within normal limits. Campbell has never been seriously injured or hospitalized due to illness. The referral information does not indicate any concerns with emotional behavioral issues in the classroom, home, or community for Campbell. There are no cultural, linguistic, or environmental factors that contribute to her learning difficulties. Lastly, Campbell has a good record of school attendance with appropriate instructional opportunities in place. And actually, that was not lastly. Suspected educational challenges are not attributed to the poor attendance. Overall, Campbell did not have any exclusionary factors that may hinder her ability to learn and be eligible for SLD, for specific learning disability. Some of my references that I used, I use Essentials of Cross-Battery Assessment to help me with this case study. Reviewing the case study, and also Essentials of Specific Learning Disability Identification. Thank you.